Good evening. This is the October 8th, 25 meeting of the Planning Board. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, members of the Planning Board. The first item on the agenda is an extension of preliminary subdivision approval for number 1178, map of Gyrodyne LLC. The applicant requests an extension of conditional preliminary approval for the subdivision number 1178, map of Gyrodyne LLC. The subdivision number 1178, map of Gyrodyne LLC received conditional preliminary approval from the Planning Board on March 30th, 2022. Conditional preliminary approval expired on September 30th, 2025. The applicant submitted a request for a 7th extension on September 23rd, 2025. The extension request is to allow the applicant to continue to work through the Suffolk County Sewer Agency and county subdivision process. The Planning Department has no objection to the request and recommends an extension period of 6 months. The Planning Department offers the following resolution for the board's consideration. Whereas the Planning Board has considered the request of Timothy Shea to extend the conditional preliminary approval for subdivision number 1178, map of Gyrodyne LLC. Now therefore be it first resolved that the Planning Board hereby approves a 6-month extension of time to the conditional preliminary approval for subdivision number 1178, map of Gyrodyne LLC to expire on March 30th, 2026. And we also have the affidavit of posting here.
Okay, thank you. Yes, would you like to give your name and address for the record, please?
Yes, Yulia Viola from Sir Tillman Ballon, 100 Motor Parkway, Happock, New York, on behalf of Gyrodyne LLC. We are in agreement with the staff recommendations and respectfully request another 6 months extension so we can continue our efforts in working with Suffolk County Department of Health Department and Sewer Agency.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, then, before I ask if there's anyone in the audience who wishes to speak, I just want to have this on the record that we did receive a letter dated today, October 8th, 2025, from Joseph Ballhofer regarding the Gyrodyne application, and just want to note it for the record. Okay, then I'd like to know if anybody in the audience would like to speak on this matter. Sir? Please state your name and address for the record, and also can you spell your name? Thank you.
My name is John Dervin, D as in David, E-R, V as in Victor, A-N. I live on Oakfield Road in St. James, which is about 0.8 of a mile west of the Gyrodyne property. I'm here to object to the extension of the proposal. It already expired. Why are you allowing an extension when they didn't do due diligence getting it re-extended? The town may ask, just to remind you, because this is upsetting to us in the community, they're going to ruin our community. The town comprehensive plan stated specifically in 2020 that mixed-use development should be in the downtown areas, not in residential areas. We live in a residential area. You're putting mixed use in a very residential area. We can't handle the traffic of a 2,000 space parking lot that's going to be created by this. The town should prohibit this facility. Even local officials, including the Suffolk County executive, has warned that the Gyrodyne's master plan would devastate water quality, which, as you can see, was already impacted from last summer's 2024's destruction of the dam. So once again, I just request that the committee seriously consider this, since it has already expired. Don't extend it. Don't screw our neighborhood just because somebody's interested in making a lot of money. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Ma'am? Again, name and address, and also spell your name.
Good evening. My name is Meg Shutka, S-H-U-T-K-A. I live on Hitherbrook Road in St. James. I am about also 1/8 of a mile from the proposed project. I am here basically to read a statement presented to me by Joe Ballhofer. By now, you probably realize, as a result of the huge opposition to Jaredine's proposal, that your preliminary subdivision approval a few years ago was a mistake. The concentrated effort and dedication of many people resulted in the state DEC taking the unusual step of offering Jaredine $16.8 million for the 49 acres of open space, which apparently was not quite enough for them. The Peconic Land Trust had just started preliminary discussions in an effort to raise some additional funds and serve as a conduit for a preservation purchase. Unfortunately, it's my understanding that Jaredine has signed a contract of sale with a developer instead. You now have the opportunity to rectify your mistake. It is my understanding that Jaredine's preliminary subdivision approval that you gave has expired, and now they are asking for you to reinstate your approval retroactively. You don't have to do that. If anyone argues that Jaredine could not move forward because this matter is in litigation, that is completely wrong. Although the Article 78 proceeding is now in the appellate division, there was no stay or freeze issued by any court. Jaredine was free at any time to move forward. However, they chose not to. Again, this is your opportunity to deny their request and put an end to their ill-conceived proposal. If you don't, everyone who lives in, works in, or travels through that part of the community will suffer the intolerable effects of traffic on the two-lane country roads that are already overburdened with it. And I totally agree with this statement from Joe. I live very close to there. I can't even make a left half the time out of Hitherbrook Road onto 25A. I have to go west in order to go east. This will further burden my happiness and my ability to live where I love to live. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Sir?
Stephen Oaks, OCHS. I live on Great Oak Road, and I walk my dog on that property all the time, so I'm very familiar with it. 25A floods in normal circumstances with an inch of rain. Doing that much more improvement on the land, putting in asphalt, parking lots, stuff like that is just going to make it that much worse. And then you have a assisted living facility where on a rainy night, people can't even get to it off of 25A. It really makes no sense. I'd like to see you folks dismiss that ability for Gyrodine to build there. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Ma'am?
Someone in the back row.
Good evening. My name is Shala Pascucci, and I live in, you want the full address?
The spelling of your last name, please. Thank you.
S-H-A-L-A, I should be used to that by now. Pascucci. Do you want the full address?
Yes.
33 9th Avenue in Kings Park. And even though I live in Kings Park, I still care very much about the rest of my community and about making sure that our planning process follows both the law and common sense. The issue brought before you tonight, Gyrodine's request to retroactively extend its expired preliminary subdivision approval, is simply not lawful. Once approval expires, it no longer exists. There is no mechanism in our code that allows the planning board to bring an expired approval back to life. This procedural mishap is reason enough to deny application. However, the problems with this project, as everybody else has said, run much deeper. The town's own 2020 comprehensive plan makes clear large-scale mixed-use developments should be located in downtown areas, near sewers, near major roads that can handle them. Flower Fields is not one of these areas. It's bordered by two-lane country roads that are already congested. And now we're talking about adding a 2,000-space parking lot to this area. It's impractical. It would create a traffic nightmare for everyone who lives, works, or travels through this part of town. It's also inconsistent with the plan, with basic planning principles, and with what residents have been asking for over and over again. Furthermore, This site holds significant historical and environmental importance. It's located within the National Historic District, a designation that should be respected and protected. Environmental experts and elected officials, including County Exec Ed Romaine, have warned this project would devastate water quality in the Stony Brook Harbor. We've already seen the effects of uncontrolled runoff in the destruction of Stony Brook Mill Pond, and we cannot afford to repeat that mistake on a larger scale. And it's not as though preservation was impossible. There was a better path. New York State DEC and the Peconic Land Trust offered fair market value to preserve this land space. The state was ready. The county was ready. But Gyrodyne turned its back on preservation and chose profit instead. Given all of this, I urge the board to table this request, seek formal legal opinion from the town attorney before taking any action. If approval has expired, and it has, it cannot be extended retroactively. The law, the comprehensive plan, and the public interest all point in that direction. This is your chance to correct a past mistake and protect the future of this community, our roads, our harbor, and our shared quality of life. Let us please choose preservation over poorly planned development and protect the character and the future of our community. Thank you very much.
Just for the record, which Matt just read before, I just want to state for the record that the conditional preliminary approval expired on September 30th, 2025, but the applicant before that submitted a request for a 7th extension on September 23rd before the expiration. So he is entitled to have an extension, just for the record. And is there anyone else who wants to speak? I'm sorry, anybody who has any questions, please come to the mic so we can all hear you.
John Durbin again, I don't have to repeat that. Why do you have to give it again? Because you've got the community opposition and it's still against the 2020 master plan. You're going against the community and you're going against the master plan. That doesn't make sense to extend it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, you want one more question? Okay. Come on up to the mic.
Catherine Walsh, WALSH. I live on Lake Avenue in St. James. I would like to request that you consider not extending this situation any further. I think you guys have probably have it coming out your ears, all the people telling you why you shouldn't or shouldn't do it, but simply that it expired, yeah, a week before. They said, oh, wow, we're really almost up the creek with no paddle. That's poor planning, if that kind of planning is what's going to shape any kind of future use of that property. It's not a good precedent to have set that they can't even keep their deeds straight. I'd like to request that you consider letting the fact that they have their approval expire. Yes, they applied for an extension. That is not an automatic thing necessarily, as I understand the law. And you people would know better than I, but I would strongly urge that you consider, just because they asked, does that mean they get? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, is there anyone else who would like to speak at this time? Any questions from the board at this time? Okay, and
As in the past, I will be recusing myself and abstaining from any vote on this issue. Let the record please so designate.
thank you. Okay, then in the matter of number 1178, map of Gyrodyne LLC, I move that we close the hearing.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? The hearing is closed. In a matter of extension of conditional preliminary approval, number 1178, map of Gyrodyne LLC, I move that we adopt the resolution as read in accordance with the recommendation of the Planning Department.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Again, Mr.
So abstain.
Okay, again, Mr. Ryan has abstained again. The motion is adopted. Okay, thank you.
The next item on the agenda is a waiver amendment request for the subdivision 948 map of South Lake Estates in Nesconset. The applicant requests to eliminate the 30-foot limited access and planting easement for lot number 5. That's Suffolk County Tax Map number 800-107-4-3.5 within the subdivision known as number 948 map of South Lake Estates. The subdivision number 948 map of South Lake Estates received conditional final approval from the planning board on September 2nd, 1998 for a 15-lot subdivision. The map was filed with a 30-foot limited access and planting easement along New York State Route 347 on lots 3 through 7 and 10 through 12. Additionally, Condition U of final approval stated, a declaration of covenants and restrictions shall be filed in the office of the Suffolk County Clerk, stating that within the limited access and planting easement areas, the following activities are prohibited: vehicular ingress and egress, removal of buffering trees and shrubs, except for hazardous trees, and structures, except for the required fence. The planning department has reviewed the request and offers the following comments for the board's consideration. 1, the purpose of a limited access and planting easement is to control access to a public right-of-way, particularly those with high traffic volumes, and to suitably screen the private properties abutting them. At the time of subdivision approval, there was no sound barrier wall along New York State 347 adjacent to the subject property. 2, as part of the recent right-of-way improvements along New York State Route 347, the New York State Department of Transportation erected a sound barrier wall along the rear property lines of the subdivision, including Lot 5. This wall blocks access to New York State Route 347 and provides screening from the highway, thereby addressing the original intent of the limited access and planting easement. 3, the planning board granted a similar waiver amendment for Lot 6, located directly east of Lot 5 on October 4th, 2017. Planning department offers the following resolution for the board's consideration. Whereas the planning board has considered the request of Amir Hashmi to eliminate the limited access and planting easement on Lot 5 within the subdivision known as number 948, map of South Lake Estates. Now therefore be it first resolved that the planning board hereby amends the map of number 948, map of South Lake Estates, so as to eliminate the 30-foot limited access and planting easement on Lot 5 for the reasons presented in the planning department's memorandum dated October 3rd, 2025. And one thing I'd like to add, since I sent you guys this memo, I heard back from Highway and Traffic. They have no objection, and the Department of Environment and Waterways recommended that trees 6 inches or greater in diameter shall not be removed. And we have the affidavit of postings.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Mr.
Shall I?
Hashmi?
Yeah, good evening. Amir Hashmi, Hashmi, 8 Crystalbrook Court, Nesconset, New York. It's my address. This is a petition that we made because at the back of the property, this used to be a buffer zone between us and the Highway 347. And since the town erected a big wall, I think it's 16 feet, so I don't see a need for it anymore. And this is just between our fence and the wall is just an area which is full of dead branches. It's a ground for like breeding ground for rabbits and all of that. So I'm planning to utilize it for a better purpose, clean it out and make it a more nicer area that can be utilized in a much more effective way.
Okay, thank you.
You are.
Thank you. Okay, then, is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak on this matter? Are there any questions from the board? In the matter of number 9,
You're going to incorporate that into your yard?
Backyard,
That's
yeah.
the plan, take the fence down and incorporate that into your yard, or?
I'm not so sure about it at this point, but eventually I might.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay. Thank you.
you are.
okay.
Sorry, Barbara.
That's okay. Anybody else? In the matter of number 948, map of South Lake Estates, Lot 5, I move that we close the hearing.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? The hearing is closed. And in the matter of waiver amendment request 948, map of South Lake Estates, I move that we adopt the resolution as read, and also including the conditions that Mr. Collado just read into the record. So including those conditions, according with the recommendation of the planning department.
Hold on one second. What can, the DW's comments?
Yes.
Okay.
6-inch trees? The 6-inch trees. Yeah, I was gonna say, what holds to that recommendation if it's not in here yet? Do we need to amend?
No, you could add it, subject to that condition.
Right.
I received it after.
Yeah, I get
So
it
if you feel
totally,
that
but-
condition should be added, it's not my recommendation, it's the environmental department's. So I just want that clarified,
wanna-
so if you feel like that should be included.
And normally that would be given to you, and the department would make a recommendation to us, is that correct? Rather than come directly, we don't directly take their recommendation.
Usually I incorporate everything.
You do, but as far as us, it comes through you, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Do you want that in the record, or is it, you want it to be?
It's your you
You're
can,
not recommending it.
Right,
can
then-
vote
you
or
can,
not.
you can include it as a condition if you want. It's,
What do you think,
I
Mr.
mean, you could add it to
Judge Toomey?
6-inch trees if that's what you prefer to do. If not, you can just do it as the planning department recommends at this point, which is what's in front of you.
Yeah. Well, did the board have any comments on that?
I think it's a minor enough worded
Yeah.
comment, you could just
Okay, so
add
we
it.
don't have to add that then.
I think if you want it, it's easy enough to word to add it on the fly. That's the point I'm trying to
Okay.
make.
Or
But if,
you could go with what's before you now.
I think we'll just go with what's before us now. I think we'll just leave it at that?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm okay with that.
Okay, so we'll just leave it at that. I'll do that again then. In the matter of waiver amendment request, number 948, map of South Lake Estates, and move that we adopt the resolution as read in accordance with the recommendation of the planning department.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? The motion is adopted.
next item is a recommendation to the Board of Zoning Appeals for the subdivision number 1199, map of Sunken Meadow Plat in Fort Salonga. This matter involves a referral from the Board of Zoning Appeals requesting that the planning board review and provide a recommendation concerning variance requests associated with the proposed subdivision referenced above. That's BZA case 19406, and that's scheduled to be heard on October 21st, 2025. In order to proceed with the proposed subdivision and create buildable lots, the applicant is seeking the following variances from the BZA. Lot 1, reduce minimum lot area from 43,560 square feet to 42,393 square feet. The actual total lot area is 60,001 square feet. Alter environmentally sensitive land, depth of groundwater less than 10 feet. For Lot 2, reduce minimum lot area from 43,560 square feet to 24,802 square feet. The actual total lot area is 52,759 square feet. Reduce minimum lot frontage from 150 feet to 146 feet, and alter environmentally sensitive land, slopes in excess of 15% for a proposed retaining wall. While the planning board has limited authority to grant certain variances within the context of subdivision review, that authority is explicitly constrained by section 24831 of the town subdivision regulations. Specifically, the planning board does not have the authority to grant variances related to development on environmentally sensitive land, also known as ESL, nor may it approve variances that would result in an increase in residential density permitted within the applicable zoning district. As such, any relief related to ESL or that would otherwise allow for an increase in density beyond what is permitted in the R43 zoning district must be sought from and granted by the BZA. This application proposes the subdivision of a vacant 2.59 acre parcel into 2 single-family residential lots. The property has approximately 302 feet of frontage along Sunken Meadow Road and is located within the R43 zoning district. It's surrounded by R43 zone properties and single-family residences. A town recharge basin borders the site to the south. Lot 1 is 60,001 square feet, and Lot 2 is 52,759 square feet. However, due to steep slopes throughout the site, the buildable lot areas are reduced to 42,393 square feet for Lot 1 and 24,802 square feet for Lot 2. Both lots comply with the R43 zoning district requirement for minimum setbacks, road frontage, and lot frontage, except for Lot 2 has a proposed lot frontage of 146 feet, which is 4 feet less than the required minimum of 150 feet. The site's topography is varied, with elevations ranging from approximately 18 feet to 58 feet above sea level. Additionally, high groundwater is present along Sunken Meadow Road, particularly affecting Lot 1. Pursuant to Article 16, Section 277-6 of New York State Town Law, the BZA is authorized to grant area variances within subdivision applications. However, before doing so, the BZA is required to request a written recommendation from the planning board concerning the proposed variances. While town law does not prescribe specific criteria for the planning board to apply in formulating its recommendation, it is reasonable to interpret the board's review within the context of its core responsibilities related to subdivision approval. These responsibilities primarily focus on ensuring the adequacy of access and infrastructure and evaluating whether the property in question can be developed safely for building purposes without posing danger to health or risks from fire, flooding, poor drainage, or other hazards to the site, neighboring properties, or the general public. Accordingly, this recommendation is limited to those areas of concern that fall under the planning board's jurisdiction. It does not address the 5 statutory criteria for area variances outlined in Section 267B of Town Law, as that analysis is within the purview of the BZA. The Planning Department has reviewed the requested variances and provides the following comments for the board's consideration. 1, access and infrastructure. The existing access and infrastructure along Sunken Meadow Road appears adequate to support the proposed dwelling. Each lot meets the minimum requirement of 40 feet of road frontage as required in the town zoning ordinance. Sunken Meadow Road is classified as a minor arterial road, and as such, it is not considered safe for vehicles to back out directly onto the roadway. Therefore, it is recommended that the applicant design each driveway to include sufficient turnaround space, thereby reducing the likelihood of vehicles reversing onto Sunken Meadow Road. Comment 2, Lot 1, the steep slopes and lot area. The applicant does not propose any disturbance to the steep slopes on Lot 1, and the reduction in buildable lot area is minimal. As such, the requested variance for reduced lot area is not expected to negatively impact neighboring properties or the general public. To further safeguard against future disturbance of steep slopes in the rear yard, it is recommended that a 100-foot deep conservation easement be established along the rear portion of the property. Number 3, this is Lot 1's high groundwater. Test hole data submitted by the applicant indicates that groundwater was encountered at an elevation of 10 feet above sea level. The lowest point on Lot 1 is 18.7 feet above sea level. The proposed ground floor elevation of the dwelling is 24.4 feet above sea level, and the proposed basement is at an elevation of 16 feet above sea level. As the discharge of additional wastewater could further elevate groundwater levels, it is recommended that a basement or cellar not be permitted for the dwelling on Lot 1, unless the dwelling is repositioned further back from the road to a higher elevation within the building envelope. The design of the sanitary system within an area of high groundwater will be determined by the Suffolk County Health Department. Comment 4, this is Lot 2 steep slopes and lot area. Although approximately half of the Lot 2 consists of steep slopes, the applicant is proposing only minimal disturbance to accommodate the construction of a 4-foot retaining wall. This limited activity is not expected to cause flooding, erosion, and other adverse impacts to neighboring properties or the general public. To further safeguard against future disturbance of steep slopes, it is recommended that a 100-foot deep conservation easement be established along the rear portion of the property. And comment 5, this is Lot 2's lot frontage variance. The requested lot frontage variance for Lot 2 is minimal, representing a reduction of only 4 feet from the required 150 feet. It is worth noting that a nearby 2-lot subdivision to the east, subdivision number 1112, map of Keshet Estates, was granted variances allowing lot frontages of 135 feet for Lot 1 and 131 feet for Lot 2. Given the modest nature of the request and a similar variance approval nearby, the proposed variance is not anticipated to have any negative effects on adjacent properties or general public. The Planning Department offers the following resolution for the board's consideration. Whereas the Planning Board has considered the request of the Board of Zoning Appeals for a recommendation regarding variances associated with the subdivision number 1199, map of Sunken Meadow plat. Now therefore be it first resolved that the Planning Board hereby recommends the Board of Zoning Appeals approve the variances associated with the subdivision number 1199, map of Sunken Meadow plat, subject to the following conditions. 1, each lot shall provide a driveway with adequate areas for vehicles to turn around in order to prevent vehicles from reversing onto Sunken Meadow Road. This shall be done to the satisfaction of the planning department. 2, the dwelling on Lot 1 shall not have a basement or cellar unless the dwelling is repositioned further back from the road to a higher elevation within the building envelope. 3, to mitigate the potential for future encroachment or disturbance of steep slope areas, a 100-foot deep conservation easement shall be placed along the rear portion of the subdivision. Second, resolve that this recommendation pertains solely to the variance request before the Board of Zoning Appeals and not to the proposed lot layout, extent of regrading, building location, public improvements, and other aspects of subdivision design within the purview of the planning board. And third, resolve that nothing contained herein shall be construed or deemed as implicitly or explicitly approving or endorsing on the merits any subsequent request for approval of any subdivision for this property, whether or not the request arises out of any variances granted by the Board of Zoning Appeals for said property.
Thank you. And the affidavit?
Yes, we have it.
Okay. Mr.
Good
Tramarko?
evening, Madam Chairman, members of the board. My name is Vincent Tramarko. I represent the applicant. I've supplied my client with the planning advisory report, and I ask the board to follow the recommendation of the planning department and send this matter to the Board of Zoning Appeals. Thank you.
Okay. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard at this time? Are there any questions from the board at this time?
Nope.
In the matter of number 1199, map of Sunken Meadow plat, I move that we close the hearing.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. The hearing is closed. In the matter of Board of Zoning Appeals recommendation, number 1199, map of Sunken Meadow plat, I move that we adopt the resolution as read in accordance with the recommendation of the Planning Department.
I second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? None. The motion is adopted.
Thank you.
Good night.
The next item is a special exception for a telecommunications application, Tier 2 T-Mobile Northeast LLC in Hauppauge. Liam Trotta with the Planning Department will be reading the report for the board.
Good evening, board members. Again, I'm Liam Trotta with the Planning Department. I'll be reading the Planning Advisory Report for the subject application. The reason for the report is the Planning Board will conduct a public hearing on October 8th, 2025 to consider special exception petition number TC 2025-01 for a Tier 2 personal wireless service facility pursuant to Chapters 242 and 322-30.3B of the Smithtown Town Code. The applicant is T-Mobile Northeast LLC. The subject site is located on the northwest corner of Commerce Drive and Adams Avenue in the Hauppauge Industrial Park. The site is the site is a rectangular-shaped parcel developed with a one-story multi-tenant retail and office building with related parking located at 160 Adams Avenue in Hauppauge. The building currently has a wireless service facility co-located on the roof with 6 panel antennas for Verizon. The zoning and land use. The site is zoned shopping center business, as you can see in the aerial, and it's developed with a multi-tenant retail and office building and surrounded on all sides by LI zone property and industrial type uses. The site is located in the middle of the industrial park. The proposal is to construct a personal wireless service facility, PWSF, consisting of 9 wireless telecommunication panel antennas, 6 remote radio heads, a 50 kilowatt generator, and a platform for cabinets and related equipment on the roof of an existing one-story commercial building. Staff report. Section 1, description of the proposed PWSF. The applicant proposes to install 9 wireless telecommunication panel antennas, 6 remote radio heads, a 50 kilowatt generator, and a platform for cabinets and related equipment on a roof of an existing one-story commercial building. The existing building is an L-shaped, and there are 3 proposed sectors of the building that will each contain 3 panel antennas and 2 radios. Sector A is located on the northwest corner of the building. Sector B is located on the south side of the eastern wing of the building, and Sector C is located on the west side. The proposed equipment platform will be located in Sector B of the roof, which is right here. The site contains an existing Tier 2 PWSF for Verizon with 6-panel antennas located at the southeast corner of the building. Other PWSF sites in the area are rooftop installation at 110 Motor Parkway. I'll pull this up. In Hauppauge with 6-panel antennas by Verizon. A rooftop installation at 330-350 Motor Parkway in Hauppauge. 18 total antennas, 9 by Verizon and 9 by AT&T. And a monopole at 300 Kennedy Drive in Hauppauge. 21 total antennas, 18 by T-Mobile and 3 by Dish Wireless. The 3 nearest T-Mobile sites are located at 100 Motor Parkway in Hauppauge, which is a Tier 2 rooftop with 9 antennas. 300 Kennedy Drive in Hauppauge, which is a Tier 3 monopole with 18 antennas, and a LIPA transmission pole at Dewberry Place in Hauppauge, which is a Tier 1 utility pole. And again, on this map, it shows the subject site is circled in red with the 3 nearest T-Mobile sites highlighted in yellow. And here's a zoomed in. So the location, the proposed facility is not located in or near any identified avoidance areas such as a flood hazard zone, wetlands, or parks. The proposed facility is located within an opportunity site because the proposed PWSF antenna will be mounted on the roof of an existing 1-story building with all related equipment installed on the roof. Therefore, the proposed facility meets the standard locations. The location standards. Section 3, siting. The proposed facility meets the siting standards because the antennas and related appurtenances will be mounted on the roof of the building. The roof mount antennas extend over 10 feet above the height of the building, 11 feet proposed. However, there is an existing 2.5-foot tall parapet of the building, so the antennas will only have an exposure of 8.5 feet. This is a section of the building rooftop, so you can see there's a 2.5-foot parapet, but again, the antennas only extend 8.5 feet above that parapet. While the proposal does not appear to exacerbate the visual impacts of the surrounding area, additional screening of the proposed facility, including additional perimeter plantings along Adams Avenue and Commerce Drive, may be required at the time of site plan review to assist in reducing any visual impact. It appears street trees have been removed over time and should be replanted. The facility will be placed on an existing roof and not on a non-wireless structure or ground mounted. The roof-mounted equipment extends just over 10 feet above the height of the building, 11 feet proposed. However, again, there is an existing 2.5-foot tall parapet, so the antennas will have an exposure of 8.5 feet. The antennas will not project beyond the face of the building walls. Moving on to Section 4, design. The antennas will be exposed 8.5 feet above the top edge of the parapet roof and are proposed to be white. It is recommended that the panel antennas be painted beige to match the color of the existing building to better blend with the surrounding conditions and mitigate visual impacts. The proposed antennas are externally pole-mounted antennas and will be located on the southeastern side, northwest corner, and western portions of the roof. The antennas will be exposed again 8.5 feet above the top edge of the parapet roof. All related equipment would be installed on the roof and would not be within view of any residences. Again, the site is entirely surrounded by commercial and industrial buildings. The equipment will be entirely mounted on the roof, and it is not a roof-mounted monopole, lattice tower, or guided tower. The overall height of the PWSF is 32 feet, 3 inches above grade, and is not higher than the uppermost height of any nearby structures. Therefore, the proposal meets the design standards, and further review of the design will be incorporated into the site plan approval process to assure that the materials, color, size, screening, landscaping will minimize the visual impacts of the PWSF panels and related equipment. The planning department recommends that the antennas be painted beige to match the building and additional street trees be planted to better screen any equipment. Moving on to Section 5, alternatives analysis. The applicant has provided 3 different alternative sector layouts on the subject building. Upon review of the proposal and surrounding area, the planning department has no alternatives to propose. And comparing the applicant's alternative layouts, the planning department finds that the layout as proposed would be the best alternative. Section 6, description of the attachments. Again, the documents in front of you and in my presentation, I have copies of the site plan, elevations, and photo simulations of the proposed rooftop installation submitted, and also a zoning map and a map of the existing facilities in the area. Also present the photo simulations of the site, the existing conditions, proposed installation. That's looking, it's in the parking lot looking southeast. This is in the parking lot looking northeast, existing and proposed. And this is in the parking lot looking north. As you can see, then there's an existing facility located in the corner. And this is what the proposed antennas would look like. In section 7, the recommended decision, findings of fact. The proposal meets the location standards in that it is an opportunity site. The proposal meets the siting standards in that it would be mounted on the top of a roof of an existing structure. The proposal meets the design standards and is in that it would be mounted on the roof of an existing structure and will not extend more than 10 feet above the building's parapet roof line. The proposal meets the safety standards per section 242-5D in that it meets the Town of Smithtown Building Code, which incorporates section 3108.4 of the New York State Building Code for wind loads in accordance with TIA-EIA-22, and the facility is roof mounted. Therefore, the Planning Department recommends conditional approval of the application as described in section 4 above, that the antennas be painted beige to match the building and additional street trees be planted to better screen any equipment. The board must wait for a secret determination from the Department of Environment and Waterways before taking any action to approve this petition. That concludes the report.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Trotter. Sir?
Yes, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, members of the board. My name is Brian Felton. I work at Highlander Consultants. The office is located at 130 Knickerbocker Avenue in Bohemia. Currently here on behalf of T-Mobile. I'm accompanied by WFC Architects in the event that there are any questions on design. So if there's anything else that's needed, let me know.
Thank you. The affidavit,
Affidavits are good.
it's good? Okay. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak on this matter? Does the board have any questions
You've
at this
agreed to the
time?
conditions as outlaid by the planning department?
So as far as the paint to match, absolutely, we could certainly do that. That was discussed. We might need a little bit more information on as far as the trees. I see that as no problem, but that's something that would ultimately have to be approved by T-Mobile. But yeah, they should.
Okay, then. Any other questions from the board? Since we don't have a secret recommendation at this time, we'll reserve our decision until a meeting in the future. So for tonight, I'm just going to state that in the matter of a special exception petition, TC 2025-01, T-Mobile Northeast LLC, I move that we close the hearing.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? The hearing is closed. Thank you, sir. Okay, then, I move that we adopt the minutes of the September 10th, 2025 meeting of the Planning Board.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? The minutes are adopted, and I move to adjourn this meeting.
I second.
All those in favor? Unanimous. The meeting is adjourned.